Hello disc golfers, today we are scouting the back nine of McCurry Park in Fayetteville, Georgia. If you haven't already seen the front nine, the link to the first video is in the description. Let's get scouting. Hole 10 plays as a dogleg to the right because of an early mando off the tee. Be careful when taking your shot as the walking trail has regular traffic and there are often people near the playground on the left hand side of the fairway. This is a challenging birdie, but a very makeable three. Hole 11 is a fun uphill shot that favors the right-handed hyzer line. The basket placement is to the left of the utility pole at the top of the hill. Your biggest risk on this shot, other than the plethora of trees to whack, is going long and landing in the parking lot. Finding pavement here would be considered out of bounds. Using the utility pole as a target, you will typically fade to the left and be near the basket. This hole is definitely a birdie opportunity. The first challenge of hole 12 is to find the tee. Follow the road on the right-hand side from hole 11 and you will find the tee box behind a small batch of trees and bushes. The hole itself is pretty straightforward. The road on the right is out of bounds and you will need to be able to throw a 400-foot anhyzer with a late fade to get a sniff at a birdie. Getting a 3 on this hole is very reasonable, but the basket does sit on a slope which could make putting very tricky. Hole 13 is a fun shot that has multiple lines to throw. A long hyzer to the right will almost guarantee a decent placement for an upshot and a clean look at the basket for 3. The shortest distance from point A to point B is taking the middle gap, but it also presents a lot of opportunity for errors. The basket placement is just on the other side of several pine trees, making the green a little more challenging. Hole 14 and 15 are some real bugaboos for trying to fly a drone, which does not bode well for throwing a disc. 14 is an extremely wooded shot with the basket at the bottom of a hill. Distance-wise, this is not a long hole, but reaching circle 1 for a birdie is commendable. Since I like to throw a forehand, I will occasionally find success on a throw through a narrow gap on the left-hand side of the fairway. If you can hit the gap going left to right, you have an excellent chance to reach the basket for a birdie opportunity. Good luck! Now we get to hole 15, which is another challenging wooded shot. Don't be fooled by the gap on the right. Take the safer left gap and land past the first batch of trees in the middle of the fairway. This will give you a look at a layup for 3. I make it sound easier than it is. There is a lot of trees on this hole, including a tree struck by lightning. Ka-chow! Hole 16 marks the beginning of the home stretch. There is a road to the left that marks the out of bounds, and there are several trees to avoid early, but this hole is honestly a relief after hole 14 and 15. The only real danger is that the road crosses behind the basket, giving you a chance to go OB. In my opinion, hole 17 is the signature hole of the back nine, and possibly the entire course. You are at an elevated tee with a smaller gap to hit, but once you are through the gap, your disc is free to fly unimpeded. You will need a big arm to reach the basket on your first shot, but as long as you clear the first gap, there should be no reason not to take home a low-stress par. Enjoy. Hole 18 is a long and challenging par 4, but it's not unreachable for birdie. The tee shot has a few gaps to hit and a lot of low limbs in the way. Your second shot should be from the field just past the 2 trees in the middle, Your big challenge on shot 2 is a large oak tree which has a canopy that shields the basket. If you can navigate the tunnel on shot 1 and somehow manage to get past the big oak, you are looking at a 3 for birdie. Since this is a long hole, I thought I would take the time to invite you to subscribe to Disc Golf Scout. It's an easy way to support the channel so that I can keep going out and making these videos. Also, check out the channel because we make meme content just like this.